Hi, my name is Kevin Patrick, and I want to welcome you to video 1 of the Technical Director's Guide to Theater Cue Player. I built this tool with one specific goal in mind: to enable a full classroom of students to learn professional audio cue management right on the Chromebooks you already have in your classroom. So let's get started. We're going to start with going to the website theater-cue-player.netlify.app. That is a weird website, but it is one that allowed me to host for free. Now on the Chromebook, you can ignore these other ones. What we're going to do right now is we are going to click Launch. I do just want to point out, if you have questions, you can email me at theatercueplayer@gmail.com. All right, let's launch it. Ka-chow! Now, we are right here, and we're actually on the internet as we're looking at this. So for a live show, we don't want to be on the internet. Best practice is that when you are running audio for a production or lighting or anything, you do not want to be connected to the internet, because it's going to, who knows what's going to happen. Suddenly it's going to want to update your computer. Suddenly it's going to want to update a virus scan. Suddenly there's pop-ups, all sorts of, we don't know what can happen. So we want no internet. So how do we open this not on the internet? We can install this web page as an app on our Chromebook. Come over here to the right side of your web browser and click on that little, that's called a hamburger. I don't know why it's called a hamburger. And I'm going to come to Cast, Save, and Share. And I'm going to install this page as an app. Sure, that name is fine. Now look, we're no longer inside Chrome. We're now running Theater Cue Player 0.9.8 as an app, just like I could run YouTube or open the Play Store. Now, if I want this to always be on the shelf, I can right-click, or on my Chromebook, I press with 2 fingers, and I can pin it. Now it's just always there. So if I close this, and then I close Chrome, you can see Theater Cue Player is right there, and I can open it up again. So no more distractions from being inside a web browser. We are just inside the app. Right, so this is called the landing page. Right now, we don't have a show loaded. We don't have a cue file loaded. So we don't have any audio files loaded. So that's what we want to do first, is we want to load an audio folder. So I'm going to click here. Of course, it's going to open up the picker. Now, I do have these files in my Google Drive. Theater Cue, I can open them from Google Drive. But that's possibly the internet. Like, I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure that I drag the audio files that I'm wanting out of Google Drive and into my files, into a folder specifically for this show. I don't want this folder to have every single sound effect I have ever used ever in my life, because that will be unmanageable. I want to make copies of the audio files that I'm using for a particular show and put them inside one folder. Now, Theater Cue Player will look at nested folders. So if I wanted to break up these files into Act 1, Act 2, or into music and sound effects, I could do that, and it would find all of them. So I'm going to press Upload. Now it's going to say upload 8 files to this site. It's not actually uploading. It's not actually moving files from one location to another. It's taking the information from those files in that folder and putting it into the memory of the app. I'm going to say upload. And while it found 8 files, only 6 of them were usable audio files. And it found no cues because we just loaded the audio folder. So I'm going to say OK. Nothing has changed, right? Because we need to go into the edit screen. So now I'm going to click New Project. New Project is going to take me into the edit screen. And I've done this a few times recording this, so we're going to call this actually Demo V3. Okay, so I've renamed this show to Demo V3. Now we'll get to building cues in a little bit. We're just talking about file structure right now. So now I want to save this cue file. So I'm going to save this cue file. You can see I already have demo and demo V2. So I'm going to save this as demo V3 in the same folder where I have the audio files. Click save. Okay, now before I even add audios, I want to make sure that all of that has worked. So I'm going to close that and I'm going to open Theater Cue Player again. Now I can load the show folder. We can see we have these demo JSON files. JSON is just the file structure. It's the type of file that we're using for cue files, and you can see the MP3 files that we have here that I downloaded from Pixabay. And I'm going to upload. So this was load show folder. Okay. Say yes, yes. And it automatically opened demo V2. Well, that's not the most recent file. So how can I fix this? This is not the one I want to be working on. I want to be working on V3. So I'm going to come over here to load cue file. And now I want to open demo V3. So now that's the file that we have open. So if you have more files, that's the way that you can have it working. You could even break this up, and I could add a folder that was cue files, and I could move all of them into there, and I could have the MP3 separate. Now, if I open the folder Theater Cue Player Demo, it's still going to find all of those. So what I might want to do is put this in my files as its own folder. So now if we close this, boom, open Theater Cue Player again, if I load the show folder, you can see this doesn't have any JSON files in it anymore. It just has the MP3s. If I upload that, same warning. Now it's going to say I found 6 audio files, but I did not find a project file. I didn't find a cue file. And so it's going to say untitled show, but I can fix that by saying load cue file. Go into the cue files folder, and then I can select the most recent one, Demo V3. So just to recap everything we did, we went to the website, we opened the app, we installed that web page as an app, we pinned it to our bar, we created a folder with all of our files, and then separately, we separated the cue files and the MP3 files so that we could have those in 2 different places and showed how to load those. We saved our cue file, we closed everything, and we opened it all back up again before we ever started dumping cues in there to make sure that we can verify that we can open the cue file. So in the next video, we're going to move to adding cues. That's the most exciting part, right? So this is Theater Cue Player. You can email me at theatercueplayer@gmail.com.